Book 305. Good morning, good morning. Welcome back to Morning Motivation with Matthew Daniels, and today I'm going to tell you guys about The Ugly Girl and the King's Challenging Puzzle. That's right, The Ugly Girl and the King's Challenging Puzzle. But what is Matthew Daniels talking about? A long time ago, in a kingdom which sat on an island surrounded by the ocean, then called Terlithium, a girl lived with her family in the Zeridoc district. This girl, who was one of my ancestors no less, was the oldest of 5 children, and she was indeed the outcast of her family. Her mother and father always told her how ugly she was, and they always told her that she was stupid and ignorant. Because her parents spoke to her like this, her younger siblings began to speak to her like this as well. Every single day of her life, at some point during that day, she was reminded by her very own family that she was insignificant, insufficient, and incapable of doing anything right. At first, these hurtful words would make this girl cry for hours on end, but the more she was verbally abused, the more she accepted the facts as they were presented to her. Instead of crying because she was ugly and stupid, she accepted it. Eventually, she began saying this about herself. The mental state of this girl declined so bad that she ceased to even try and elevate in life. Before she would even attempt the task, she would give up and say that even if she tried, she knew she was too ignorant to succeed. This girl lived in this mentally broken state for several years until it no longer bothered her that she was the way that she was. One day, the king within this kingdom sent out a proclamation throughout the land saying that a suitable girl was needed to marry his son, the prince. The king decreed that only a woman with incredible intelligence could marry the prince because this woman would eventually become queen and rule the entire kingdom with his son. So, the decree stated that every family would send their eldest daughter to the palace courtyard where they would all be subjected to a test. Whichever girl could successfully complete the test would be given the honor of marrying the prince. All families eagerly sent their eldest daughters to the palace in the hopes of them becoming queen. The family of the ugly girl sent her as well, but they all said she had no hopes of becoming queen. At the palace, the king placed all of the eldest daughters in their own individual rooms, and he presented them all with the exact same puzzle. This puzzle was the most complicated puzzle ever created. Indeed, the ancestors of this kingdom had said the puzzle was created by the gods themselves in the distant past. Without hesitation, all of the eldest daughters began to try to solve the puzzle, and they all failed over and over again, but they continued to try. Many days passed, and soon, one by one, the eldest daughters became frustrated and started to give up. "This puzzle is impossible," they would all say as they quit the challenge and sadly went home. Days became weeks, and weeks became months, and more eldest daughters gave up and went home. The ugly girl, however, did not think she could complete the puzzle anyway, so it did not bother her when she failed. She simply shrugged her shoulders and tried again. The king's challenge lasted a full year, and finally there were only 2 contestants left. The ugly girl and one other eldest daughter. The other eldest daughter screamed, "This is impossible! To hell with this foolish challenge!" She then stormed out of her room and quit the challenge. When she did, all sorts of instruments began to play, and the king's men blew trumpets that sounded throughout the entire land. The king then proclaimed that the puzzle was indeed impossible, but he was not looking for the girl who could solve it. He only needed to find a girl who could deal with frustration, failure, and stress, and still remain calm and regal under the pressure. These were the most important qualities of a queen. The ugly girl who did not become stressed out and who did not scream in frustration and quit was promptly declared the most mentally strong girl in the entire kingdom, and she was married to the prince and eventually became queen. Her family, who always spoke badly to her, felt ashamed for all that they did to her, and they forever regretted their deplorable behavior. And the ugly girl finally realized her personal worth, and she loved herself from that day forward. And so, the morning motivation of today is The Ugly Girl and the King's Challenging Puzzle. Often, the struggles that we face in life are the things which forges us into the type of people who can endure anything. Those around us wish to break us and make us feel small, but it is their own hateful hearts that will eventually make us great. When people tell you bad things about yourself, do not believe them. You are strong enough to not only endure their hurtful words, but you are also strong enough to achieve every single goal that you have for yourself. So today, ignore the hate you may get from others, never believe that you do not deserve the best out of life, and always strive to do that which is good. And remember, you are awesome, you are amazing, you are wonderful, and you are great. And you are going to change the world. I just hope I'm still alive to see it, family. I'm out. Good morning. To order books in the Morning Motivation with Matthew Daniels book series, search Morning Motivation with Matthew Daniels on Amazon.com or visit www.dandyandbigherm.com.